Yeah, Tyler, I guess just first, what's this season been like for you stepping into the starting punter role? You've had some few shining moments there.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better season to start off with so far. I'd credit a lot of that to my coaches and Nick Constantino taking me under his wing last year. But no, it's been awesome. During the bye weeks, I'll kind of catch myself like, wow, like it's kind of cool playing for A&M. There's a lot of eye-opening moments where I'm sitting out there on the field, kind of just hanging out on the sideline, and I'm like, wow, like it's a real dream come true. So it's a pretty cool, surreal moment for sure.
And you could have been playing baseball right now, probably. Just what's your journey been like, and what led you to actually choose football over baseball eventually?
So initially, I always wanted to be a college baseball pitcher, and then so I grew up playing football in high school. Um, Played linebacker and quarterback. Realized I wanted to play baseball. Kicked on the team too. Didn't want to tear my shoulder up or anything for baseball, so I stick just to kicking only. And from there, just got really good at kicking. And then the offers started coming in for football. And with football, it's full scholarship over baseball. Is typically quarter to half to 75% scholarship. So I was like, why not try and get my school fully paid for, and then on top of that, maybe go play on the baseball team. And here at Texas A&M, loved the school and everything, close to home, and had good relationships with both programs. Came here, unfortunately, it didn't work out with the football program last year with the whole staff change, and then the baseball team ended up having a staff change as well. So then. Just didn't end up working out, but I still love what I do. I love football. I think it'd be pretty cool maybe later down the road talking to coach about maybe going over there and hanging out with the baseball team a little bit. But for sure right now my sole focus is strictly on football now.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter.
Tyler, you mentioned Nick. What things did you learn from him last year?
All sorts of stuff. So coming in as an American punter, and he's from Australia, they're very known for their end-over-end short field punts, and I'd say that has definitely credited to at least two of my SEC Player of the Weeks, pinning the other team inside the 20 multiple times, Missouri on the one, and then I think Arkansas was 4 or 5 inside the 20. So, I mean, without that skill, I mean, it's going to be hard just hitting touchbacks, so they're getting it on the 20 every time. So I'd say that plays a huge role in my success, just strictly on how I hold the ball whenever we're on short field punts, and then kind of just getting a feel for it. He was a huge role, big leader in that for me. And then two, just how I go about my everyday business and rehab, and how I treat my body and how I go about practice and stuff, and the mental mindset he was really great with. So yeah, overall couldn't ask for a better guy to be a role model my first year here.
That punt you had against Missouri, had you ever had a punt like that, and could you see the movement that it had? I think the announcer said it was like you had a remote controlling the ball. I mean, did you notice that right away, or did you see the replay later and see how crazy the movement was?
So initially we were in our formation of when we're backed up in the end zone, so we didn't have anybody out there going to cover. It was strictly get this ball going forward at all costs. We can't have this ball going backwards, because at the time they had like 5-6 seconds left on the clock, and they were down I think 2-3 scores at the time. So my coach came up to me, he grabbed me, and he was like, "Hey, we need this ball going forward. Go as fast as you can." So initially I was just trying to make sure the ball went forward, and then so it ended up hitting it pretty clean. And I kind of I watched back on the video. You kind of black out in the moment, but in the video, I kind of go over towards their sideline trying to peek, and I'm like, oh, stop. And then it ended up sitting too, and I was like, where are the gunners? And I forgot that we were in our formation of where it was max protection. And so, I mean, I don't, people always ask me like, oh, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of happened. But it was a pretty cool moment for sure.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis and then Brent.
So what's more nerve-wracking, kicking in Kyle Field or kicking away, or closing out a state championship baseball game?
Definitely punting at Kyle. Punting at Kyle is just not even necessarily nerve-wracking, because I feel like I don't get nervous. That's one thing I was kind of curious about myself when I played in the game against Notre Dame, my first game with 108,000 people. I was kind of like, I didn't really know if I was going to be nervous or not, and I kind of went out there and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. And luckily for me at home games too, it's normally pretty quiet, and the fans are normally just expecting like, hey, all right, time to go on the defense. And so it's normally not it's normally not that nerve-wracking. Playing in the state championship was pretty cool too, and that was that was probably only in front of like 5,000-6,000 people. So punting in college is definitely a lot different.
And you hold too, right? How much has that been a part of your game before you have to learn? And I guess will we ever see the arm in action?
Probably no comment on the arm in action, just because we still got at least 3 games left, so we've got to keep that one on the low. But with the holding aspect, I did that in high school. I held for a guy that was All-State my sophomore year, so that was something I had already done before. And then kind of just learning from Mick as well, just learning other things too, like, hey, taking a deep breath before, making sure everybody's set, counting that there's 11 people. So that's not the easiest thing in the world either, but typically the O-line helps me out pretty well with that. But it's not easy. I mean, there's times we'll watch on, even on TV during the bye week, I'll watch, and there's guys messing it up every week. And so that's something that people overlook for sure, but it's definitely not as easy as it looks.
We'll stay on that front row to Brent and then Tony.
Real quick, what is your major?
Currently in May School business. I haven't declared my major yet, but I'm in business. Haven't declared, most likely marketing.
Okay, so were you born and raised in that South Lake
Yes,
Fort Worth
sir.
area?
Yes, sir.
So when you're a little kid, how do you learn to punt? How does that come about where you say, hey, I could actually do this for a living?
Yeah, so crazy enough, a lot of kids just play football, and then there's like, it's a big 6A school, so every little Pee Wee team has like 4 teams. So every team needs a punter, so then these kids will come out playing even from soccer, just like the quarterbacks will come out and they'll start punting. And I even back home have taught, I think 6 kids that are currently either in high school or middle school right now. And so it's honestly just caught on because even when I was in high school, we had a guy before me go play Division I, and then the kicker before him played Division I. So we have a long history of really good kickers that have all gone and played college ball. So and nowadays too, with parents are like, yeah, sure, like if my kid can kick a ball, sure, that'd be really cool. So definitely a lot of kickers come out of South Lake, and just to be on the list of those too is pretty cool.
And were you aware of Texas A&M's history as punter U? I mean, going back to Yale area and then Shane Leckler and along the line.
Yeah, so when I was getting recruited here, that was a big thing too, is how it was punter U, and I see that all the time on Twitter when I'm scrolling just in my free time and stuff. But yeah, guys like Shane Leckler, Braden Mann. I actually got to meet Braden Mann a couple times at some of our games. Really cool dude. I'd like to sit down and talk to him just a little bit too, just to pick his brain. But it's super cool seeing all these guys, and they come back for games all the time. And with that being a part, I mean, it's cool to try to be at least next in line and try to do just half as what they've done. They've been awesome. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I watched Braden Mann play last night. I was like, oh, this is cool. Met him, so that's pretty cool.
We'll go third row on the left side to Tony and then Luke.
Tyler, obviously we talked about your ability to pin the ball inside the 20-yard line. You got 19 on the season, I believe. Can you talk about the mechanics, the thought process, just how you go about doing something like that? I know you say there's some luck involved, but I know there's some skill there as well.
100%. So honestly, it's kind of a feel for the day. So it depends. It depends where you're at, what stadium. Some stadiums are super windy. If we're playing on grass, turf, there's all these different variables. So really, honestly, it starts in pregame. You kind of have your set of skills beforehand in practice, but honestly, really, it's in pregame is when you figure out what yard line are you going to hit a spiral, what yard line are you going to hit an end over end ball, and from there, you it kind of goes back to your fundamentals. But so typically, when you're going for the shorter punts, mine's typically from the minus 46 and back, I'd spiral, and then in front of that, I'd end over end. So what you do is you kind of drop the nose, and it's kind of like Aussie. I learned we just play catch with it. So instead of throwing, we just kick the ball to each other, and you go from there, and you start backing up all the way to about 40, 50 yards, and you really just kind of get a feel for it, and you can change your angle on it a little bit, hit it a little more out front, or you can hit it a little higher, but it's truly just a thing in pregame, just going through with my coach, hey, like this is the yard line, we're at this yard line, we need to pin the ball. If not, then I need to try and see how far I can kick it. So pregame's a big part of that.
We'll stay on that third row to Luke.
We're getting Randy and Jacob in here later today, so I wonder if you can kind of talk about the rapport among the specialist group on the team and kind of what y'all's dynamic is like in the special teams room.
So we're all like we will all sit there. We could be sitting there watching punt, field goal, snaps. So we're all most all the guys like our engineers are super smart, honors in the business school. So they're all super smart guys. So we'll sit there, and depending on which phase we're watching, all sitting there watching each clip about 5-6 times, and we're all very good at helping each other and knowing what we all look at when we're at our best. So I think that's one thing that's really huge with our room is we can all sit there and kind of help each other out whenever maybe, hey, you didn't have a great practice, or hey, this one was off. And that's one of the cool things now too with having the iPads on the sidelines, being able to come in after you just ran off the field and watching exactly what you did from 3 different camera angles is pretty cool. So I think that plays into a huge part of our success too, is how much we work together and how much we can help analyze each other and set each other up for success. And off the field too, we hang out a decent amount, and we get along pretty well. So it's another plus on top of that.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then wrap things up on TV row.
Tyler, I know you and Marcel were in the same recruiting class. Seemed like you guys got pretty close. Just what's it been like watching him this year, and what's your relationship with him?
So Marcel, yeah, so we came in at the same time. He's actually been to my house in Southlake. He's came up last summer and stayed with me a little bit. He's got some family in Dallas. We became really good friends, especially even this season. So his parents and my parents actually, when they come and stay at the hotels with us before games, they'll sit there and his dad will have an old fashioned, my dad will have a beer, and they'll just be sitting there all night talking. And so then me and Marcel will just be sitting next to them, kind of hanging out and talking. And Marcel's a great guy. I mean, he's a great leader. I'm glad to see what he's been doing this season. Marcel, love the guy. I mean, he came up to me last week after the South Carolina game. He came up to me, stopped me in the hallway in the complex, and he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry for making you punt so much last week." He's like, "My bad." I was like, "Dude, you're good. And don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for. If not, I wouldn't have a job." But no, he's a great dude. Just super genuine, most outgoing person you'll ever meet, too. I don't know a single person that doesn't like him, so that's pretty much all you should know. I mean, he's a great dude.
And 2 Southlake guys, you and Quinn Ewers, I know you know him. We may not talk to you until then, so that Texas game, how close are you with Quinn, and how much are you looking forward to maybe seeing him and going up against him?
Yeah, so I know Quinn pretty well. We grew up in the same high school, obviously. He was a grade above me, and then we played baseball together for a little bit in high school, and then we trained with the same personal trainer back home, so actually all summer, while on the weekends when I'd go back, I saw him 5-6 times, and we'd sit there and chat, and we weren't naive to the fact that we knew that this game's been circled on their map and our map for a while, so we talked mutually, but I mean, we're pretty decently good friends, so we try to keep football out of it, especially. I'm not going to be the one out there tackling him, but hopefully I can have him starting on the 1-yard line a few times. But other than that, my game's not going to affect him too much. So we're pretty cool with each other, but he's a great dude. But we'll see how he does.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left side to Tyler and then wrap things up with Ben.
Yeah. Tyler, what's kind of the mood and the mindset, kind of the vibes in the locker room been during this bye week?
Kind of like Coach Elko talked about this morning. We're focused about now. We're looking at ourselves right now. We're totally worried about this game, this week, this practice. I think that's one of the things that's really changed this program is the mindset going in every week. We kind of know what it is every week because it's pretty similar every week. But it's we've got stuff to work on ourselves. We're not worried about anything else. The outside noise doesn't matter, and so. Coach has everybody dialed into what we need to do to succeed, and if we do that, he tells us every week we'll be the best team in the country. So,
With 3 games left, you guys talk about being able to control your own destiny at this point of the season.
100%. Just like Coach Elko talked to us about this morning, he's like, this is basically like playoffs for us. Like, one loss and we won't be in Atlanta. So he's like, we've been working really hard for the 9 or 10, 11 months that we've been working together. And we've got 3 games left. I think Coach Doherty said it today in our meeting too. We've gotten guaranteed of 19 days left. So he said, hey, give it your all. He's like, there's 19 days left. We've been working this hard for so long, so we might as well finish it through with the best that we can give. So, yeah.
We'll go to the right side of TV row to Ben to wrap us up.
Speaking of Coach Doherty, what's it like having a special teams coordinator? Like your practice routine, how is it different? Kind of having a dedicated coach for you guys versus kind of working on your own.
So now with Coach Doherty is very. We are analyzing stuff all the time, but at the same time too, he's like, hey, you know your body better than I do. He goes, I'm not going to tell you to do anything, but I have certain things I'm going to recommend to you to do every day. So that's been a really cool part about it. And then on top of that too, with our free time, our downtime, you know, it's been perceived before that we go in there and play kickball or something, and that's not really the case anymore because now that we have an analyst and a coordinator, we are always doing drills, doing something, and even for the other guys too, they don't want to look in the indoor and see us playing kickball or something. So, like that's never been a thing since I've been here. But like even now, I like going out and watching practice when I am free and watching the guys because they work hard and it's fun to watch. And I genuinely like football too, so it's cool. But just having Coach Doherty and Coach Larson around has been awesome. And I think they really put us in a great space to succeed and do our best every single week.